we're taking this 2018 Polaris Sportsman 450 HO and this old Power Wheels body, and we're gonna make the world's smallest mini truck. Listen to that Hemi. Oh man, she's really growling now. We are finally, and you're gonna see this by the thumbnail. We're getting a Power Wheels. Not sure if this is the one that we're gonna use yet. There might be another one, but we'll find out. Oh, yeah, great. We hooked up a 12 volt to a 6 volt system because we figured we're gonna need some more juice.
So this must be forward.
It's a wheelie machine.
Really machine. Supercharger wine. There goes the battery.
Oh. Well, this is what we ended up with. A $50 purchase. Can't go wrong with that. And we also got a Jeep. Free Jeep that came with the Silverado. So this will probably be used eventually. Have to get her out. Either the battery's dead or it's got a weak motor in it. Put an ignition in here.
Oh yeah? Perfect.
Here's the little one from this morning. It's too small to do anything with. We're probably just gonna give this to my nephew, but we'll see. You see the size comparison between these. Gotta flex the suspension, huh?
Worked on the shit bag.
We're gonna keep on tearing this thing down. So basically, we're gonna tear this down to pretty much bare frame. That way we can, easily work on it and decide how we want to build this Power Wheels around it. Essentially, is we're going to be removing as much of this area out as possible and as low as possible. When most of this stuff's out of the way, I'm going to take the engine out. I think I'm going to probably shrink the frame up from here to the A-arms, make it as close as I can get it to fit the wheelbase a little bit better on the Power Wheels. And then we'll see how the Power Wheels fits on it, but we're going to extend the Power Wheels out a little bit. So basically, what I need to keep doing is gotta take the front bumper off of this and all that. And just remove everything I don't need. So the whole steering column's going to come out because I don't need this steering anymore. So basically we're going to be cutting. So we're going to be cutting this section out here. Gas tank's going to be routed somewhere else, and we're probably going to keep the radiator up front. I mean, it's probably just going to stay there. We're going to hack things off that we don't need, but at this point, just got to start removing stuff. So I got the Power Wheels here. Basically I'm gonna cut the floor out and just kind of lay it on top just briefly and see how it looks and see what we're kind of dealing with. Just got the floor cut out. I don't know, guys. I think this is gonna look like an awesome mini mud truck. The next thing I'm gonna do is cut the tabs so I can actually drop it down on the frame a little bit better. So that's the general look of this Power Wheel. So I'm gonna have to make some brackets for the shocks so I can reposition the shock to the back here, and we're just gonna keep working our way towards the front. It's still pretty rough yet. This is just scrap metal I went and found at the farm. So I just cut it up. So basically, I had to make this to come out enough so the shock would clear the swing arm right here. I'll clean it up once I get it. This is just kind of a mock-up. We'll get the other side mocked up and then we'll weld the whole thing up together and use this bracer here to hold this. So I'm gonna cut this all the way down to here and the rest is gonna be cut right there. And then I'll cut the extra off right here. So this will all be out of here and the only thing standing will be just this little part of the bracket to hold the shock. And I'll probably drill another hole here to add extra strength to hold that shock because it's going to need it. Once I get all this kind of finished at the end, we'll go through and probably going to sandblast a lot of these parts and then we'll give it another paint job because the frame's actually kind of rusted already to begin with. Polaris does a crappy job when it comes to painting their frames, especially in the Sportsmans. They just put a basic black coat on it. If you guys made it this far in the video, you guys must like this type of content. So make sure you guys hit subscribe if you guys want to see more stuff by the Braapaholics. That should be plenty strong enough for the shock. Probably gonna have to trim up this bracket right here a little bit. It's actually hitting spring. I didn't really catch that at first, but it's already fully extended out, so it might not be a big issue. We'll have to put some tires on it and see how it looks once we get weight on the shocks. That'll work. Oh yeah. Alright guys, so the rough draft of the rear end is finally done. Still gotta make a frame for the chair and everything. But once we get to that point, we'll get to that point. So the next step is to shrink the front end up. Once I can get the front end figured out, then I can really do the nitty-gritty stuff. Pretty exciting stuff right now. So this is kind of just the first impression of how it's gonna actually look. So this is kind of what we're dealing with right here. Like I said, the front end's gonna come down a little bit and the rear end's probably where it's gonna stay, maybe go up a little bit. I just gotta make some supporting bracket to hold it up once we get the seat in and stuff, but we are going to be using this lawnmower seat. I think it's going to be perfect for this type of build. It's small enough, compact, and cushy. I do have steering parts coming in, so after we get the seat mounted, we're going to work right onto the steering wheel. That way, once the steering wheel is done, we can finally mount the plastic. I'm going to be mounting the seat to the top of the diff. There's a bunch of mounting points on the diff to do that, so it shouldn't be too big of an idea. Probably gonna have to take the seat belt. I'm gonna take the seat belt and the armrest off because it's gonna be in the way, and definitely not gonna use a seat belt on this because there's no roll cage, so I don't want to be seat belted to it. Got exhaust coming in for it now because the other exhaust had an exhaust leak. Alright, so for the back mount for the seat, this is gonna get bolted down right there, and then it'll get welded down to this bracket here. Just a piece I had laying around is literally the perfect size. I don't have to make any cuts or nothing. I just gotta drill some holes, weld it, the back brace is done. And for the front brace, this is gonna be not too bad either. There's a mounting point right here. So on this mounting point right here, I'm gonna have a bracket that goes up a little bit and then over, and then it's gonna mount to these front bolts here when it comes down. The U-joint came in for the steering, so this will be plenty strong enough to handle this. So basically what I'm going to do, so I'm going to start making the bracket for the steering. I have this bushing here from the original steering system. So I'm going to weld a bracket in to hold the bottom section up right here. Then it's going to get cut here somewhere. And then I'll weld this bracket to the bottom part. And then on this section, I'm going to make some sort of bolt system, so I can easily take the top part of the steering apart if we have to. So I had this random bearing just laying around, and it actually is going to fit perfect for steering. So I'm going to use this as just a steering pivot, and this bushing was on there to begin with. This will be it for the top part. I'm in the process of adding more stability to our steering column here.
Does this have power steering or not?
No, it don't. I'm hoping that it doesn't turn too hard with a smaller steering wheel, but we'll find out. Well, our steering wheel hasn't arrived yet, but we got the handlebars here to kind of just test to see how it handles. And it kind of steers normally like the quad would, but you gotta remember, the wider the handlebar, the more leverage you have to turn. So I mean, this ain't too bad. I'm just hoping that the steering wheel isn't too bad. When you're moving though, steering's easier just because of physics, but we'll see. I'm hoping we don't have to put power steering on it, but this isn't an EPS, which Polaris makes a power steering system for these quads, but they're expensive. I don't want to put one in.
It looks like it's in a good height. I mean, for once you get on your seat,
yeah,
it'd be about perfect.
I kind of guessed on it. I was in the seat and I was like, that's about right, holding it, tack welded it. We're here to explain this. We just don't have the right tools to make precise cuts of stuff.
It's our first gen, man.
It's our first one. We're literally using scrap metal to make this, so.
You got your tetanus shot.
I have. Trust me, I've stepped on many nails how to get many tetanus shots. The exhaust came in. Oh yeah, we are going big. The other exhaust had a pretty bad exhaust leak and it was really annoying, and this sounded like poop anyways. So we're gonna be putting it out. We're gonna be putting the steering on finally, get that all together. And then we're gonna start mocking up the exhaust. And once that's done, then we can kind of jerry rig the gas tank and we can take this for a little test ride. So that's how the exhaust is kind of supposed to line up, and then the stock muffler was right here. But obviously I've changed things now, the seat's in the way and the shocks are all moved around. So I'm still trying to figure out how I want to do this. I was originally just kind of gonna keep sending it, cut it here and just send it straight back, which I still might do. The only problem is this shock might somewhat be in the way. So I just did a little quick mock-up of how the steering wheel is going to be. Got the throttle on and the brake's going to be mounted right here, I think. I'm hoping it's going to work. I hope that this doesn't need to be leveled to work properly. Guys, so the exhaust is mocked up for now. I want to put the gas tank and stuff on. I'm gonna try to start this up. I just want to hear what it sounds like. I'm just too excited. So I'm gonna do that. It's not quite done yet. I'm probably gonna put a supporting bracket on the seat right here. I have this gas can here. It came with the Predator build. It's just an extra one. I think this is gonna be fine. It's about approximately 3 gallons or so. This one might fit right here. I mean, we might have to modify the hood a little bit, but if we move all this electronics and stuff right here, I think it's gonna fit pretty good right into that hole, and the dash is gonna cover it, and we might just have to cut part of the hood on this thing, and it might just look like a hood scoop or something. It's gonna work out. I think that's gonna be perfect. Then we got the problem of this. This is the EFI. So this is the fuel pump assembly that I took out. I'm just gonna take the pump part out of this assembly and just rig it to pump. Gonna be mounting the wiring harness in here so we can put the gas tank on. So the ECU, we're gonna mount it right in there. It'll fit just fine. And then the fuse box here should get pressed down in here and fit, I think. The gas tank is gonna sit just fine in here. We got stuff in the way, but it's gonna sit right there. It is literally meant to be for this. This is the end of this video. In the next video, we will be finishing it up, taking it on the first test ride. We do have plans on putting a different body on it, but the project's coming up very well for being a budget scrap metal build. So make sure you guys subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.